Hey, what up? Thanks for your interest in the program about my post and Comedy Down strength down below. So I'm going to share my screen with you and you'll be able to see a full overview. And I'm just going to go over it all. And if you want a screenshot or whatever, perfect. But let me jump into it for you. So this is part of our program in the peak performance program. It's our strength and power. It's 3.5 is just a number to let us know like what current phase of training we're on, as we have like 3.5 years of programming in there. But like I said, this is our strength and power phase. So what you saw on the post was a part of our max effort full body day. Okay. Um, so in this phase, we're using a modified conjugate method, okay, just meaning that there is a max effort heavy strength load, and then we also have our like more power emphasis days where we use some dynamic effort, okay? So this is only a 3 times a week split, but it does give some really, really good results, assuming that you are absolutely getting after it on our max effort days, okay? So our max effort day, right? Jump rope, we got some things to get warmed up. What you didn't see is the contrast set right here, which is a Hatfield box squat. These are just 4 sets of 5, and then we're supersetting that with a contrast set like we did in the video. So this one doesn't necessarily have the contrast set, but you can add it in. It's really good, and that's what I've been doing for the past 4 weeks with it. Okay, so with the cluster sets, it's in the Anderson press. It's really simple. I kept it very similar the entire time. Okay, so the first 2 weeks, you're doing sets of 6, and the cluster set is a 3-2-1 rep scheme. So essentially, what you'll do is you'll do 3 reps, boom, 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 rest it on the Anderson pins for 15, 20-ish seconds so you can recover. Do 2 reps, rest 15, 20 seconds, do 1 rep. The following week, you just move it down to 5 reps. And then the following week after that, you just move it down to 4 reps and you change the cluster set rep scheme with that. So on the third week, instead of it being 3-2-1, it'd be 2-2-1. And then on the last week, it's 2-1-1. After that, we get into some of our hip and hamstring. This is similar to a contrast set, but it's more of a power-based exercise here with a rear foot elevated dumbbell RDL into a banded kettlebell swing. Then we get back into the upper body with a vertical pull, a little bit of core work plus some shoulder mobility and stability here. And then we have some low back. And then for my combat sports guys, we do some like neck isometric work. After that, it's just into some mobility. So you can use all of these if you'd like. So this is really good for like the adductors, piriformis, open up our calves, hamstrings, some more like strength mobility work, a couple of different squat variations, and then a little bit of upper body mobility. Lower body power day, we keep the warm-ups pretty similar, but now we're using something, and this is where I really think having this Anderson bench plus Hatfield kind of heavy day, then into these is going to make a big difference for you. So, and I'll explain it on the bench a little bit more, but a banded back squat. So we're thinking like 65, 75-ish% on the bar, and some bands. So the bands are going to add something called dynamic, accommodating resistance, which when that tension, so as you go up in the squat, you're going to get more and more and more and more tension, as the if lift gets easier, right? So it's accommodating to your leverage position. And we're trying to teach the athlete to accelerate through the entire movement. So with this, we'll do 3 sets of 5, working up to a heavier set of banded back squats. And then we'll get into some oscillation squats, which oscillation squats, and the oscillation work, where are we? This is light, right? This is like 20 to 30%. I'll show you. It's going to look stupid, but I'm telling you, it really works. And the whole goal of this is to teach our body how to get in and out of what's called the amerization phase really, really fast. So it's like in power and explosive based movements, it's all about how much load and force you can stop and then immediately redirect. And that small little portion in between the eccentric to concentric is called the amerization phase. So we're getting a lot of work in that amerization phase right now to kind of help like get out of the hole with this in the squat position. So you're essentially going up and down really quickly and then exploding on up. You're trying to get like 3 to 5 oscillations. I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm trying to get down as fast as I possibly can. The bands do help pull you down a little bit faster. That's why we have the bands on these. We'll get into some like cleans from blocks. This is a complex. We're working through a couple different points on the force velocity curve here. So more of a heavier load, more of a heavier power base work, weighted jump. So the velocity is going to be a little bit higher, and then we're going unresisted here. So we're just working a few different points on the force velocity curve, trying to achieve some post activation potentiation here, and then some lateral work here, same concept, and then some hip and core work and some more hip mobility and hip flexor work here. And now I'm going to dive into the upper body stuff because I think that's what you're after. So with our warm up, we'll get a couple of like med ball work here, just to prime the central nervous system, get them a little bit warm, get going, get some power based movements, and then we'll go into banded bench press and then the banded oscillating squats. So I typically it's around 50 to 65% for the bands, but this can be a little bit higher just depending on your strength level. Sometimes it's a little bit lower. The whole goal with this is like, yes, we want the tension high, and yes, we want the weight pretty up there if you can, but we don't want to sacrifice necessarily like bar speed. So I never want to be doing a rep where I'm just like super slow grinding it out, okay? Because that's what we're getting over here with the Anderson bench press is purely like muscular driven, force driven stuff. Over here we want to be a little bit faster. The banded oscillating bench presses throughout this entire 4 weeks that I've done have absolutely lit up my chest more so than I thought. And I think it's really helped me get out of that bottom position. Again, it's just working on that amortization phase again, just like the squat was. So with this, I'm like pumping the bar up and down 3 to 5 kind of oscillations, and then I'm exploding up as fast as I possibly can. And with this, I did this whole entire time, I never went over 135 or the 45s on each side. And it was plenty for me. If you do it longer, you may continue to add a little bit of weight. But again, this is more about speed of the contraction and teaching your body how to contract and relax really quickly and then explode back on up with those. Trap bar row, banded trap bar row. So this is like a heavy set followed by a speed set at the end. So it'd be like 6 total sets with that. There's some split jerks in here. I only have that in here for our athletes who can handle a little bit more load. This isn't necessary, but it's an option in there for you to do. And then a little like core shoulder stability as well. And then there's some shoulders and arms for our athletes and for our members to get after it there. And then last day is a speed day for us. Again, this would be like an optional day to do this. So like we have a lot of like rugby, football type athletes in here or soccer. So they have a speed day in there. Currently I'm in season, so I'm getting 1 speed day in because I also have like practices and other stuff like that. But I hope this is helpful. Actually, let me go back in and show you real quickly just so you can see all of this at once. Let me try to zoom out a little bit. That way you can see it all. And if you need a screenshot, that's pretty much, let me do one more. I know it's kind of small. But that way, if you want to screenshot this and look at it, write it down, it's available for you. Again, if you want to do this and like want to run through the entire program, you can always book a call with me and get on a strategy call with me. We can go over the peak performance program, see where you want to get started at, get this implemented. So you have the app, you have the sets and rep progressions. It has the numbers all in the background. You get coaching calls with me to go over anything from program adjustments to technique to nutritional support. I'm really here to try to help everyone get the best that they can and improve their performance with their goals. So I'm Nick Lyden. If you don't know me, thanks for commenting. I really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me and I'll try to answer as best as I can. All right. Have a good one.